Welcome to Mike and Mark's Rock Battle. Here, once again, this is our what? What episode is this? Third,
Four.
fourth episode. So what basically this is Mark and I, Mark, that's me. Mike and I, we turn anything into a contest. We have for years, and rock and roll is our passion, and we are doing a battle here today. And what basically is, if you follow our 8 subscribers that we have 8 now. Maybe
And
we'll get 9 or
I
10.
know this episode is going to push us into double digits. Here's getting to 10.
There we go. There we go. So basically,
Who's
what
with
it
us?
is,
Who's
we
number 9 and 10?
yeah, really. There you go. So what is this is we have albums and we discuss them track by track. This week we're doing Kiss albums, and I proposed to Mike that whatever our favorite Kiss album was, mine was Destroyer, and his was
Creatures of the Night.
Creatures of the Night. So I'll go ahead and start off with the battle. I chose Destroyer, which I bet you don't have a Creature of the Night t-shirt like I have a Destroyer
I
t-shirt.
do not.
I won.
Oh
I
my
won
God.
anyway. I won. T-shirt.
So
Go
before
ahead.
we do track by track,
Yeah, sure.
why is Destroy your favorite album? Just let's start there.
Well, why was Destroyer my favorite album?
And yeah, why did you pick it for our
Okay,
battle?
so why I picked it, because it's got it really attracts to me. It has more of it has some tracks that, there's 3 or 4 of them that I knew right off when I heard it and heard the album. But I just I love this was actually a commercial type um album, but I just like all the songs, and some of the songs I had to go back and listen to it, which I really enjoyed. Why do you like Creatures of the Night?
Um, because it was a return to their hard rock roots. Destroyer, a lot of the diehard fans will tell you in the late 70s and 80s that it was the beginning of the end. That it followed a live one. A live one was um, a compilation of their first 3 albums, really gritty hard rock. They brought in Bob Ezrin for Destroyer. He brought, as you said, a lot of polish, a lot of commercial appeal. For the first time, they used sound effects. For the first time, they used outside writers, and it was commercial, and it started to alienate their fan base. And from there, they after that was Rock and Roll All Night, which gave us Dr. Love, and then Love Gun, which gave us Love Gun. And then they went disco. They went disco with Dynasty. They went ultra pop with Unmasked. They did a concept album called Music of the Elder. And these last 3, 4 albums, terrible, way straight from their roots. They were canceling tours where they were platinum. They became gold, or they were gold, they were less than gold. And then Creatures of the Night was their comeback album, supposed to be their comeback album. The problem is they already alienated their base. They already became comical. They were over commercialized. And so this album was lost. It didn't go anywhere. And we'll tell you, I didn't even listen to it when it came out in 82. I listened to it for the first time in 2016 when they came to a neighboring town. And I took my boys and said, you have to watch Kiss. And I told them about growing up and these albums. And I went back to Creatures of the Night. And we'll tell you, timing is everything. And here's what I'm going to be arguing is if we switched albums, Destroyer and Creatures of the Night, if Creatures of the Night came out after Alive One and Destroyer was their comeback album after alienating everyone, it would have been the reverse effect. I think timing's everything. And if you listen to this album, if they weren't over commercialized, over marketed, alienated with all these different disco albums that they did, this would have been a monster hit. It was timing. And they missed it by a year because in 1983, Lick It Up, the first album where they took off the makeup, went multiple platinum. And so they were off by a year.
So why you think Lick It Up did so well in Creatures of the Night? Because they took off their mask.
And
And that
they became a real band.
that's the genius of
Yep.
Kiss. All these marketing issues that or marketing strategies that they had. That's why they sold them. I mean, I love Lick It Up too. I love the song. I know a couple songs, but Creatures of the Night, and not to, if you like it, you like it. And I liked it too, actually. When I really didn't know much about it, I really liked it, but it was like out of all the Kiss albums, it was way down there. Destroyer was number 4 best selling of Kiss, and Creature of the Night 1920, something like that.
Yeah,
So
and
it didn't even
like I'm
it
saying,
didn't hit a
it's all about timing.
right,
Destroyer was right after they broke it wide open with
right.
live. If you would have flipped albums, Creatures of the Night came out right when they were over marketed. Everyone was tired of the makeup. They became kind of comical. And so we're when you listen to the album, it is a really hard rock, crisp
It
album.
I gotta give you that. It is a hard rock album. It kind of does remind me of going back to the roots, you know. Um, there's no ballads like there are a couple ballads in Destroyer, couple ballads, Beth and
Yep.
Great Expectations. But you know, give me Kiss anywhere you want it. I love Kiss, you know what I'm saying? And
Same.
so are we ready?
Yeah. One last
Sure, go for
point.
it.
So when you said, "Hey, Mike, choose your favorite Kiss album," it's 50 years of Kiss. You and I could have chose. They have whatever they have, 20, 25
Right.
albums. We both chose albums in the late 70s to early 80s when we
Hmm.
grew up. So we went back to when we're heavily influenced by Kiss and in 70s. We could have chose 90s. We could have chose
Yeah, we could show.
Crazy Nights. We could have chose anything. But you and
Mhm.
I chose that sweet spot in the 70s, early 80s.
Exactly.
All right,
That's a good point. Good point.
let's get it on.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So how many? Okay, I didn't actually. How many tracks are on?
These line up.
Huh?
So it's the exact amount of
Oh,
tracks:
it's
3, 4,
exact
5, 6,
10,
7, 8. It's 9 on 9.
nine.
And the first song for me is the title of the album, "Creatures of the Night," and
Okay,
it is going up against.
Detroit Rock City. Come on now, Detroit Rock City. Okay, it is about. It's a. We all know what it is. Actually, I don't know a lot of songs that I know the meaning of unless I looked it up. But this one I knew was about a young kid going to a Kiss concert and got killed in an accident. But that was actually in Charlotte, North Carolina. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they rewrote it because Detroit. They always had this connection to Detroit. That's
yeah,
what put them on the map. But you're right. It's
yeah.
loosely based on.
So it never charted. But it's one of the Kiss songs that Detroit Rock City, that's what they open up their concerts with. And I gotta tell you an analogy that you know how big of a wrestling fan I am, right? I'm a pro wrestling fan. Just went to a wrestling event on Monday Night Raw. But there's this wrestler named Bully Ray. And he always compares when you're at a wrestling show, you got to start off hot and you got to end up hot. And what he always used an analogy, you got to start off with Detroit Rock City and you got to end with Rock and Roll All Night. What? Look at that. A wrestling is making an analogy that Detroit Rock City, one of their best, and I think it's one of their best songs. There is. I can listen to it all day long. So Creatures of the Night.
So Creatures of the Night. Obviously, it's a song about what happens after the sun sets. It is a rocking song. They did a 40th edition, remastered, really good. They released it with a Book of Kiss. When you listen to Kiss Alive 3, it opens with Creature of the Night. And for a while, they were opening with Creatures of the Night. Detroit Rock City, you're right, is a great song. I'm amazed it didn't chart. And when we get to a later song, there's a reason it didn't chart because it competed with another Kiss song that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Um, And when you look back, how the heck could Detroit's Rock City not chart? And it's played all the time on the radio. And as much as I love Creatures of the Night, it is very hard to argue against your song. And so you are up 1-0.
Exactly, because Bully Ray said you start out with Detroit Rock City. You don't think that was funny?
Yeah, I think something's lost in your delivery. I think if I heard the wrestler, I'd be laughing, but
Okay, heard. All right. Eh.
um, the other thing on Creatures of the Night, what's ironic for me, is my favorite Kiss member is Ace, and he didn't play on Creatures of the Night.
What was
I
that
still
line?
love
I'm
the album.
sorry. What did you
So
say?
my favorite band member out of all Kiss members is Ace, and he left right before the recording of Creatures of the Night. He's not even
Right.
on. This is actually uncredited to Vinnie Vincent. All
Oh,
right,
I
let's
forgot to say that Destroyer was it was ranked number 32 on the charts, and so 2.2 million. How many did Creatures in the Night sell?
Yeah, it didn't. But like I said, I'm arguing it was all about timing. If you flip these, where
Okay.
Destroyer was released when they were over marketed, over commercialized, they become kind of cartoonish after Unmasked, Dynasty, after Music of the Elder. Destroyer would have met the same fate. Destroyer was released when they were going up, Creatures of the Night when they tanked. And
Fair enough.
so I'm going to ignore the sales. I'm going to ignore the rankings. This is a really good album. Number 2, Saint and Sinners against
King of the Nighttime World. So you want to go first on this one?
Saint and Sinners, written and performed by Gene Simmons. It's really a song about his relationship with Ace. Ace had left the band. It's a song where Gene is really frustrated by that. He's not going to let Ace leaving the band take Kiss down. He's going to persevere. In the song, he's really referring to Ace as the saint and him is the sinner. But it's really about the strife inside the band between Ace and Gene, and it's a really, really good song.
Mm-hmm. King of the Nighttime World was actually written by Michael Anthony and Kim Fowley, who were of the Hollywood Stars, and Paul Stanley actually written it too. You ever heard of the Hollywood Stars? I never heard of them.
No, but I knew this was written by an outside band. It's also the first time they introduced, well, after Detroit Rock City, they introduced more sound effects with the kids on this.
Right.
No, that's God of Thunder. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was God of Thunder. So so this is about basically a teenage boy who is a confident person when he's outside of his parents' house. So basically, and he gets with his girl, but that's basically what the song's about. I really enjoy the song. What was the song for yours? I
Saints
forgot.
and Sinners.
So, they're both uncharted. So
I like the meaning. I like that Saint and Sinners was written by Kiss. It's not an outside song. I like that it has meaning. And really, when we talk about the timing of the release of Creatures of the Night and the downfall and the band kind of breaking up, they're trying to return to their roots. This is a song that talks about that struggle. And to me, it has deep meaning. And so for me, I would vote for Saint and Sinners.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Right, it's 1-1.
1-1. Chart that down. 1-1.
All right, song 3.
Right. So God of Thunder, and yours is
Keep Me Coming.
Keep Me Coming. So God of Thunder, that is a Gene song. Actually, is this the one? I don't remember now, but it's one of those songs that Gene does every time where the blood comes up in concert. He does a great job. Did he actually write this song?
No, so Paul Stanley wrote it with the intent that he was going to sing it. And Bob Ezra.
That's right. That was the one. You're right.
And Bob Ezra and the producer said, this is really about Gene's persona. Gene's the God of Thunder. And so Paul Stanley wrote it with himself in mind, but acquiesced to Gene Simmons. And it works because when you listen to it, you picture Gene as the god of thunder and the blood
Exactly.
spewing and the kids kind of running in fear. And that song is pitted against "Keep Me Coming," which is
Mm,
a song about uh, presumably it's Gene Simmons wrote the song, performs the song, getting a girl hot and where she's going to lose her virginity and she's fighting the temptation with Gene. Does she lose her virginity or not? And so it's a song about temptation, a song about lust and what a girl feels right before she succumbs to losing her virginity. And so for me, yeah, Kiss is kind of the king of sleaze. They have a lot of sex in their songs. This is one of those sex songs. You're What I love about God of Thunder is you picture the blood, you picture the crowd going nuts. It's become synonymous with the raw energy and the theatrics of Kiss. You listen to the
right.
song, you picture the theatrics, and so this is a song that's tough to beat, and so I got to
Yeah.
give it.
I always think of God of Thunder, him rising,
Yes,
what are they called? The
risers.
rise. There you go, the risers, and then the blood, and it's just a cool song. I saw him about a couple years ago, and that's one of the songs that God of Thunder that they sing in concert all the time. So, but let's go to the next one. So it's 2-1, right?
2-1. Song 4 is Rock and Roll Hell, written by Gene Simmons, performed by Gene Simmons. It is the story of their journey. They are 16 years into their journey when he's writing the song, and it starts out 16 years and talks about how hard it was to make it and the struggles. And it's a song about never quitting, always chasing your dream. And it talks about all the roadblocks and all kind of the crap thrown their way on the way to making it, and that they're going to persevere. Great beat, and a great story. It's the story of Kiss and how they made it big.
Absolutely. So, Great Expectation. So when I heard this song, when you hear this song, Great Expectation, what do you think of first?
But
Just the
you think of
sound.
the book, and it
I
sounds
didn't think of the book, but yeah, it's but that's not the first thing I thought. You know what I thought of is the Beatles. It sounded kind of sort of like the Beatles. What do you think?
I never got a Beatles vibe from this.
You never did. I did. I sure did. First time I saw that. But
So
oh,
what did you get out of the song? And I'll tell you what I got out of the song.
it's about sexual arousal and denial, somebody you know, you know, someone you're gonna have sex and then someone puts you down. So that's Great
Same
Expectation.
thing, and it's a song about sex and ego. You've got some nerve thinking you're going to have sex with a member of Kiss.
Yeah,
And you pit that against a Rock and Roll Hell, the 16-year journey and how hard it was to make it. Now, to me, when a song tells a story and it's a journey and it has deep meaning, and I know you and I've talked. You love hard rock beats and drum and blazing guitars. I love rock and roll that's storytelling. And when you compare the 16-year journey to Sex and Ego, Great Expectations, I picked the story.
I agree. I have to agree with you. Um, Another, I would consider Great Expectation a ballad. Um, that's what it sounded to me. So I gave it to you. I give you that one.
All right, 2-2. All right, song 5 pits Danger
Man,
against.
Flaming Youth. Now, did you realize Flaming Youth in the US hit number 74?
Yes,
And I don't think back when we were back in 76 when it came out, I don't remember even hearing it. Do you?
I remember hearing it on the album.
Yeah, on
When
the
this was
album,
released.
but it charted number 74, which was surprising. And it was basically about being gay. That's the way I took it.
About
So
being gay. That's
yeah,
what you got out of the song?
yep.
Flaming youth will set the world on fire.
Mm,
I got youthful energy.
okay.
It is and to me it was a perseverance song.
Mm-hmm.
Flaming youth. Um, I never got the flaming youth will set the world on fire. What does that mean to you?
Flaming.
Oh my God.
That's the way I took it.
So Danger is a song about adrenaline and doing things that are risky and dangerous to get that rush. Like, well, they don't talk about it in the song. It's akin to jumping on a moving train. Why do you do it? You do it for the adrenaline and rush. It's kind of a stupid thing to do. But Danger is about taking risks and getting that adrenaline rush.
No, I kind of like Flaming Youth. I mean, it hit 74. What is, I don't know. It's just, I guess, songs can be interpreted different ways, you know, the way am I right?
Apparently, because we walked away with completely two different meanings.
Right. So, how are you going to argue? So,
But it did reach 74. Danger wasn't released. I do kind of go when there's charts or when other bands remake it or it somehow enters into pop culture, it kind of tips. I really like Danger because I like the song about adrenaline rushes and doing things that give you that natural high in life.
mm-hmm.
But I'll give it to you, Flamin'
Okay.
Youth.
So was it 2-2?
It is 3-2 you.
3-2. Okay.
And now we move on to song 6. I Love It Loud.
Well, you can't, and this Sweet Pain and Love It Loud. Love It Loud. I love that song. That's
So do
not
I.
that. That's the really, they do that in concert, don't they?
Oh, it's one of their staples.
Yeah.
It's another Gene song. It was the first video specifically made, what their first video specifically made for MTV. The problem was they were already over marketed, over exploited. The song reached 102 on the Hot 100, but I'm telling you, if it was released instead of Flaming Youth, I think it would have done better than 74. It's all about timing. Flaming Youth.
You actually make a good point about time, and I didn't really realize that, but you know, Destroyer was on the uprise, Creatures of Night was kind of on the down, and then Lick It Up came out, and that's when they started getting to reinvent
Yeah,
themselves.
and one thing they dropped all the gimmickry so that all you could hear is the rock. In
Right.
Destroyer, we loved the face paint, we
Mhm.
loved the image of the risers and the blood. But then you get to 82 and it's kid stuff and the things they were doing were drawing 12-year-olds and not adults.
Yeah.
And they took off the makeup 1 year later and they're rock stars again
Right.
because they got rid of the gimmickry.
Right. And I mean, what got them to where at that point was all the makeup and all the the rock star stuff that they did, and then was going
It got too
downhill. So
much.
this is what I like. They reinvented themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever came up with that idea was
It
probably
was Paul
genius.
Stanley,
Was
and
it Paul
maybe
Stanley?
if they took the paint off for Creatures of the Night, it would have been the Lick It Up because I
It
really
could have
think it's
been.
a great
It could have
album.
been. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we're both in lockstep that I Love It Loud. It's a song about
Yeah.
energy. It's over Sweet Pain. So we are tied at 3-3. All right. The next song is
Shout It Out Loud, another staple of their concerts. It hit
I got this wrong.
31. What?
So I wrote it down wrong. So okay, so Shout It Out Loud versus I Still Love You. Is that what you had?
Yeah. So Shout Out Loud, number 31, actually hit the charts at number 31. It's one of those energy top
Well, it's a song about belief and believing in yourself. Got to look
Shout
out for
Out
numbers.
Loud.
No. This is Shout It Out Loud is a song about self-belief and believing in yourself in the face of adversity.
Okay.
And it's a great song. I think it was the first song to go top 40 that featured alternating singing between Gene and Paul, and where they switch verses. I Still Love You is a ballad. You and I kind of put ballads lower.
Yeah.
Your song is really about self-belief and self-perseverance. It's got a great beat. It's alternating singers, hard to argue. Have to give
You
it to
know,
you.
and they wanted to get that sound that rock and roll all night and party every day. You know, that came before that, right?
Yeah, so that came in Dress. Now we talk about
Dress to
timing,
Kill. Yeah.
and it went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great song. And then a couple albums later, they released it, "A Kiss Alive," which broke it wide open. They re-released it 2 years after its original release. The first time it didn't do anything. The second time it became a top, I think, 20-25 hit.
Right.
And it's all about timing.
True. So
All
you're
right,
gonna get,
so you have that one,
so
and it
was
is
it
4-3.
4-3? So
I'm a
next
little out of
one,
sync because I didn't shout it out loud. What do you show as the next matchup
Beth.
against Killer?
Uh, yeah, I didn't write yours down, so I'm assuming that's it.
All right, we're going to be a song off because I forgot shout it out loud. But
Okay.
um, so tell us about that.
Well, Beth is actually, did you realize that was the B side of Detroit Rock City back in the day when they had the 45s? That was the B side. If people are 8 subscribers, probably all 8 subscribers don't know what a B side is, but the A side is what they put out
Intended to be
on a
released.
45,
Mhm.
and the B side was Beth, which actually hit number 7. And then it also ranked number 3 of the on VH1's greatest power ballads. It's about actually, I was reading this. Peter Criss didn't actually write it. Did you know that?
Well, it's co-written. So it's officially listed as co-written by Paul Stanley and Sean Penridge, who was a
Hmm.
bandmate of his pre-Kiss in a
Right.
band called Lips. Paul Stanley surmises it wasn't co-written; it was really written by Penridge. But
Hmm.
both of them insist that Peter Criss had a hand in the
Yeah,
writing.
they have disputes about that. I was reading for years who actually wrote the song, and actually it was their number 1 hit of all time. Their favorite, their chart that
Right.
rose
Their biggest
highest
hit
amongst it. Yeah,
is Beth,
amongst.
and that's why Detroit Rock City tanked. They released it. They intended for Detroit Rock City to be played, and DJs always just listen to the B side to see what it was, and were so enamored with Beth that they forgot about Detroit Rock City and they played Beth.
Mm.
And it's a song about conflict between love and loyalty, love to your wife and loyalty to the band, and talks about um, leaving his wife at home because him and the band are playing late in the night and they're trying to make it big, and it's a conflict. Where should he be, with his wife or with the band trying to make it big? And it's a ballad, but you're right, it's their biggest hit, and it goes up against Killer, which is just it's, forgive my language, it's a song about a hot chick, and I can't argue with the number 7,
Yeah.
Beth, and so I have to give it to you, and it is 5-3.
All
So
right.
we're gonna have to skip a song because I thought it was 9 on 9. It's 10
No,
on 9.
actually, there was 10 songs.
You have 10,
So
I have 9.
okay,
And so we have to skip.
so my number 10 song, and we'll go with 9 and 9. My Do You Love Me, and then whatever your 9 is, and then I'll tell you what number 10
Well,
is.
rock and Roll Party is number 10, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So,
But
so so pick one of those to go up against War Machine.
do
And good
you
luck.
love
Good
do
luck.
you
Pick
love me?
whatever you want.
Yeah. Do you do you love me? It's one of the songs that sometimes they do in concerts. It's about I think it's about Paul Stanley being rich and giving his ladies credit cards, limousine riding, jet flying, all that stuff. And at the end, do you really love me, or do you love me for what I give you? So
Exactly.
yeah.
And against War Machine, a song about adrenaline and
Hmm.
power, perseverance. It's played in every concert. And when you talked about wrestlers of Detroit Rock City, I have to imagine this is a walkout song for somebody, whether it's a baseball player or a
Hmm.
wrestler. War Machine has that kind of energy to it. It's played at every concert. It's one of my favorite Kiss songs. And like I said, You could put it against Rock and Roll Party or Do You Love Me? I'm going to pick War Machine every time.
I mean, Do You Love Me is really a rock song. It is, and I
It's almost
really
a
enjoy
ballad,
it.
right?
Huh?
It's almost a ballad.
You could say it's almost a ballad, but it's, I would go with War Machine. So.
And so it is 5-4, but you said you wanted to talk something about Rock and Roll Party?
Yeah, so actually, so this is just kind of a instrumental type. It's basically some things from Great Expectations, and I'll tell you why, and with some of the vocals from Alive. And the reason why they put this there is because they needed to fill a minute whatever on the album. Why I don't know, but they had to fill it. So this is what they did. So it's kind of they just put some mumbo jumbo stuff there. I mean, it's not, it's just some mixtures of some songs and stuff. So
Okay,
that's why they did that.
This concludes 5-4, but we'll
Right.
tell you, it sort of makes my point. You picked, I think, their biggest selling album against one of their poorest selling albums. It was all about timing, and it's a 5-4 split. Again, I think it's a very overlooked album. It did match very well against Destroyer, but you won, and you are this week's king of rock and roll.
That's right. No, do it with some emotion.
The king of rock and roll.
All right, that sounds good.
And I will also, as we conclude our 4th episode, I've spent probably about an hour on each of the 3 episodes with research. What were the Billboard hits? What were the meanings? I know both these albums so well. I will confess, I didn't do any research. I knew both these albums so well. I didn't have to do anything. I just came in and talked.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. So,
all right. So which is the better album? Is it Destroyer or Creatures of the Night? Who was right? Who was wrong? What are your thoughts? And maybe we should raffle. 4 episodes. We haven't gotten a single comment. Who wants to be the
actually,
first?
we did. We got
one.
We got one on the
one
album, one and one on the other.
We got another comment.
We did.
All right, I got to go back, but please comment here.
Go look to see who it is.
Who was right? Who was wrong? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next week.
All right, take care.